And last but not least, we head into National 2 West, where Old Redcliffians in Scotland Lane is certainly becoming a venue for entertainment this season. A quite simply remarkable comeback by Dan Cox's side in round 7 as they defeated Loughborough Students 49-38 to extend their winning home record to 14 matches. But that record severely looked in doubt after just 21 minutes because they were 33-7 down were Old Redcliffians. They fought their way back into the game either side of half time to take the lead. Loughborough then hit back and looked to undo all the hard work Old Redcliffians have put in to getting themselves back into the game. But then tries from Bentley Halpin and Jalen Curry sealed a pulsating win for the third placed side. Elsewhere, momentum seems to be with Taunton Titans at the moment in National 2 West. Tony Apside picking up an excellent 23-12 win away at Lucktonians. It's now 4 wins in a row for the 5th place Titans, while Camborne were able to stretch their lead at the Summit in round 7. Hooker Ben Priddy scored a 3rd consecutive hat-trick to help power his side to a 40-12 win away at Bournville, and that win for Camborne leaves them 6 points clear of an informed Cinderford who've won their last 5 matches. But that same margin of 6 points is a difference between Cinderford and 10th place Redruth. So it's all very congested in National 2 West at the moment, which from a neutral point of view is something you do love to see. On this week's preview show, though, our second featured club comes from National 2 West in the shape of Bournville. As we mentioned there, the Chocos were beaten by Camborne last time out, which was actually the first defeat at home for Bournville since January. So they'll be looking to bounce back at Avery Fields on Saturday for a Midlands derby against the Hinckley side, who have won 2 of their last 3 matches. And it does feel like the perfect time and the perfect fixture to actually get down to Avery Fields to sample some National League Rugby, especially if you are a member of Bournville Rugby Club or if you know a member of Bournville Rugby Club, because up until Christmas, members can bring up to 2 new guests to the club and they get half price entry and a free beer voucher. So what more could you ask for? And to find out a little bit more about that, you can email general@averyfields.co.uk. That's general@averyfields.co.uk, or you can visit Bourneville's social media channels. But in the meantime, we chatted to Bourneville head coach Matt Price about the season so far for the club, competing in National 2 West and also taking on Hinckley this weekend.
It's been a bit mixed, really. We've had some really good performances, and then we've had some not so good performances. I think for us to have 40 plus at training every Tuesday, Thursday is a big tick in the box for us. The first team have really started to put some good results together, and then our away form is a bit of an issue that we want to sort of try and rectify. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be fair. But we've targeted that middle bracket of the league and almost top 6 as well. If we can squeak into that, that would be a great progression for us. But the other area as well is when I first came in, I wanted to create an environment where players wanted to be and to enjoy their training, enjoy their rugby, and wouldn't go, down the road somewhere else for something a little bit different. So I think we've got that, and we've got to try and create environments where people want to actually come down and be involved and play and participate. So we're looking at ways to do that in terms of how we train, in terms of timings. I know as an ex-player, I'd never wanted to be out there training at 8:45 at night. So we try and look after that. We have mixed grill Thursdays, and there's lots of things I know that clubs do up and down the country to, make it an environment that we're pulling people away from their families at the end of the day. So we've got to make it an enjoyable space.
And how have you guys sort of managed, being in the West then, Matt, over the last couple of seasons? Because we've seen that kind of progression, certainly towards the end of the last season for you guys, where you were nowhere near relegation trouble. A brilliant home form was kind of a bit of a cornerstone to that. So how have you been able to evolve as a side over the last 2 years to meet the adaptations and the challenges the division has brought?
Yeah, I think we've evolved from having a side where we would attack from anywhere and try and score 47 points if you scored 46. We've evolved from that to try and shore up our defence, which we did do a little bit. Still some way to go, but we are an attacking side. We like to play with ball in hand. I'm a coach that firmly believes you've got to have multiple options at the game line, and ask defenders a lot of questions in terms of whether I'm going to carry, tip, pull it out the back, whatever. So yeah, that's what we try and do. We try and play at a high pace.
And I mean, we've seen that more often than not, Matt, certainly at Avery Fields over the last sort of 12 months or so. Some of the strides you guys have been able to score have been, pretty spectacular. And so does that kind of, style of rugby, brand of rugby go hand in hand with you guys playing at home? I know you have an artificial surface at Avery Fields. So does that go hand in hand with the philosophy you talked about there?
It's an artificial surface is a lot cleaner. It's smooth. You can move on it pretty quick. I always say, an artificial pitch is a bit like going on a stag do. You feel great when you're on it and you're buzzing around and what have you, and then for the next 2 days you might be crying in your shower. So um, it's a lovely place to play. We've got great facilities, and it helps us throw the ball around a little bit and try a little bit more than it would be if it was a little bit grass muddy pitch. We seem to be really confident at home, and it's that comfort blanket, isn't it, of being at home. What we have to do as a group is turn that round away from home and make that it's still a pitch to go out and play on and go and express ourselves and ask the defenders and opposition questions of in our attack and so on. So that's the challenge for us over the next few weeks after the break. But we're not looking any further than Hinckley this weekend. We know what they'll bring. Their league position doesn't tell anybody about what they are as a club and their quality of players. So it's going to be a good old battle on Saturday up front and in the backs. What we're trying to do at the moment is not concentrate too much on opposition and concentrate on ourselves. If we can get good set piece ball and get stuck into them, then it's going to be a decent game. And we back ourselves at home as most teams do in this league. So it'll be a fun Saturday afternoon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it sure will be a fun Saturday afternoon, especially with the brand of rugby that Matt said Bournville are looking to play, continuing to play. And something that we noticed as well, just to finish off with last week, Bournville put out a social media post encouraging people to get down to Avery Fields to watch their home games this season. In particular, the remaining 4 home games they now have before Christmas. So if you are a member of Bournville Rugby Club, and Matt will correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can bring up to 2 new guests to the club and get half price entry as well as a free beer voucher. Now that for me seems like an absolute no-brainer. Free beer voucher, always going to be getting down there. But just on a serious note, Matt, how important is it for clubs like yourselves to be proactive in this space to get people down on a Saturday afternoon to watch National 2 rugby? Because I know you said before we hit record there are so many different options on a Saturday.
It's crucial. Clubs, can't survive without members, without volunteers, without people coming through the gate to watch the rugby and putting a tenner behind the bar for a burger and a beer. It's crucial. If we don't have that in our clubs, then we're not going to have many clubs in the future, which would be a massive shame. So we've got to look at how we engage more people, around the communities to come down and enjoy a day out, and that's what Bourneville's trying to do. We've got great facilities at Avery Fields, and we've got some good beer behind the bar and some good food. So hopefully there'll be some good rugby to match it.
So a big thanks to Matt for his time. Great to see National League rugby clubs such as Bournville encouraging people to get down to their club on a Saturday afternoon. And I think the way Bournville are doing it with this offer feels like a really good way to go. And as we said, members at Bournville can bring up to 2 new guests to a game, including Saturday's meeting with Hinckley, and they can get half price entry and a free beer voucher. It sounds like a fantastic initiative for new supporters of National League Rugby to be part of a National League Rugby club. And as we said earlier on, more information around this is available if you do email general@averyfields.co.uk, or you can check out more details on Bourneville's social media channels. But there is also some more excellent action to round off the first block of the season in National 2 West, starting with Camborne versus Exeter University. As we said, a very talented Camborne side out in front at the moment, and they welcome Exeter University to Crane Park. Exeter were actually beaten 37-33 at home by Hornets last time out, who host Old Redcliffians in round 8. Hornets have won 3 of the last 4 games and did run tabletop as Camborne very close a few weeks ago, so it won't be an easy afternoon for Old Reds. Loughborough Students versus Luctonians, the hosts yet to win in October after such a strong start to the season, while 4th place Luctonians have lost their last 2 matches. So which of these top 6 sides can enter November in better spirits? Macclesfield versus Devonport Services, the 2 new clubs who were promoted into this division, meet in Cheshire. 9 and Max, 11 points this season, have come at home, so they'll be wanting to add that against a winless Devonport Services. Redruth take on Clifton. The visitors perhaps produce their best performance of the season in round 7 as they dispatch Macclesfield 52-17, and a real standout game to finish off as Taunton take on Cinderford. The 2 sides that came down from National 1 are certainly clicking into gear, aren't they? 5 wins in a row for Cinderford, 4 for Taunton. So which one can continue their excellent form on Saturday?